The Zephyrian War Council had spent 3 rotations deliberating. Their most feared weapon, the Shadow Maw, had never failed to break the spirit of any species they encountered. Standing 12 feet tall with obsidian scales that absorbed light itself, razor-sharp claws that could slice through reinforced titanium, and a roar that had literally caused enemy soldiers to die from fear-induced cardiac arrest, the beast was the ultimate psychological weapon. Commander Vextai clicked his mandibles in satisfaction as he watched the creature pace in its containment field. "Release it into the human settlement," he ordered. "Let them witness true terror before we claim their world." The transport bay doors hissed open, and the Shadow Maw stalked into the human colony of New Eden. Its 6 eyes glowed like crimson stars as it surveyed the alien architecture before it. The creature's enhanced olfactory sensors detected the scent of prey, soft, vulnerable humans who would surely flee in panic at the sight of their doom. But the colony was strangely quiet. No screams echoed through the streets, no stampede of terrified civilians rushing for shelter. The Shadow Maw's predatory instinct sharpened as it prowled deeper into the settlement, its claws clicking against the pavement with each measured step. Then it heard something that made its massive head tilt in confusion. Laughter. High-pitched musical laughter was coming from the direction of what appeared to be a recreational area. The beast's thermal imaging revealed a small heat signature, approximately 1/10 its size, sitting alone on a primitive swinging apparatus. The Shadow Maw approached, muscles coiled and ready to strike. This would be easy prey to start with, and surely the death of this small human would draw out the others. As it emerged from behind a cluster of buildings, the creature froze. Sitting on the swing was a human child, no more than 8 years old by their species standards. She had golden hair tied in what humans called pigtails, and she was wearing a bright yellow dress covered in patterns of small earth flowers. The child looked up as the massive predator approached, and instead of screaming or running, her face lit up with delight. "Oh, wow," she exclaimed, jumping down from the swing. "You're the most amazing dog I've ever seen." The Shadow Maw, apex predator of 3 star systems, killer of thousands, found itself completely motionless as the tiny human approached without fear. She walked right up to its massive form, craning her neck to look up at its terrifying visage. "You're so big," she said with genuine admiration. "And your eyes are so pretty, like rubies. Are you friendly?" "You look friendly." The beast's threat assessment protocols were malfunctioning. In its extensive combat experience, prey was supposed to run, hide, or at least show signs of distress. This small creature showed none of these responses. If anything, she seemed pleased to see it. "My name's Emma," the child continued conversationally. "What's yours?" "Do you have a name?" "I bet you do. You look too smart not to have a name." The Shadow Maw opened its massive jaws, each tooth the size of the child's arm, and let out what was supposed to be a terrifying roar. The sound that had felled armies echoed across the empty colony. Emma clapped her hands together. "Wow, you have such a big voice. Are you trying to talk to me? That's so cool." Something unprecedented happened then. The child reached out her small hand and, without any hesitation, placed it on the creature's snout. The touch was gentle, warm, and completely unafraid. "You're really soft," she said in wonder, running her fingers along the obsidian scales. "I thought you might be rough, but you're like velvet. Do you like being petted?" The Shadow Maw had never experienced anything like this. Its neural pathways, evolved over millions of years to process fear responses from prey, had no framework for interpreting gentle affection. The creature's massive head unconsciously leaned into the touch. "Oh, you do like it?" Emma giggled. "You know what? You remind me of my dog Buster. He's not as big as you, but he has the same kind of eyes. Sad but hopeful, you know? Are you sad? You look like you might be sad." The child walked around to the creature's side, and the Shadow Maw, to its own amazement, adjusted its position to accommodate her movements.
"You know what Buster's favorite thing is?"
Emma asked, her voice taking on a conspiratorial tone. "Belly rubs. He absolutely loves belly rubs. Do you want belly rubs too? I'm really good at them." And then this small human child did something that no warrior in the galaxy had ever attempted. She looked up at the most feared creature in known space and asked, with complete sincerity and innocent hope, "Would you like to lie down so I can give you belly rubs?" The Shadow Maw stared down at her for a long moment. Then, in a motion that would have been impossible to predict, the great beast slowly lowered itself to the ground and, with tremendous care, rolled onto its back. Emma squealed with delight. "Oh, you do want belly rubs?" This is the best day ever. She immediately began scratching and rubbing the creature's exposed belly with both hands, humming happily to herself. The shadow maw's 6 eyes fluttered closed, and for the first time in its violent existence, it made a sound that wasn't a roar or snarl. It purred. Meanwhile, in orbit above the planet, Commander Vexthai watched his view screen in complete bewilderment. His ultimate weapon, the terror of the galaxy, was lying on its back receiving belly rubs from a human child who couldn't weigh more than 30 kilograms. "Sir," his lieutenant stammered, Should we retrieve the shadow maw?" Vexthai watched as the child continued her ministrations, and the deadly creature's leg began to kick involuntarily, in what could only be described as pure contentment. "No," he said finally, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and resignation. I think the shadow maw has found something we never gave it." "What's that, sir?" "A friend." As the Zephyrian fleet quietly withdrew from human space, Emma continued to give the galaxy's most feared predator belly rubs, chattering away about her school, her friends, and whether her new pet might like to meet Buster. The age of human expansion had begun, not through conquest or technology, but through the simple, terrifying power of a child's unconditional kindness.